Welcome to Monster Chats, presented by Monster VoIP, where we share the tools, methods, and best practices that business leaders use to build new connections, strengthen relationships, and impact sales in organizations of all shapes and sizes. If you have any questions that come up during today's episode, please text them to 424-378-6966. Please welcome the founder of Monster VoIP, your host, Colin Mitchell.
On today's episode, I'm going to be talking with Keenan. Keenan and I are going to be talking about sales and the discussion around the topics of the book, Gap Selling. I'm Colin Mitchell, the host of Monster Chats and the founder of Monster VoIP. Keenan is a Sales Guy, Inc. CEO, President, and Chief Antagonist. He's been selling something to someone for his entire life. He's been teaching and coaching almost as long, with over 20 years of sales experience, which he'll tell you doesn't give a shit about. Keenan has been influencing, learning from, and shaping the world of sales for a long time. Finder of the elephant in the room. Keenan calls it as he sees it and lets nothing or no one go unnoticed. Keenan, welcome to Monster Chats. How you doing?
What's up, baby? I'm good, dog.
Man, I'm super excited to have you on here. Super pumped to talk about gap selling. As I was telling you, it's on our recommended list. I've read it myself 3 times. But before we dive in, just for those that don't already know, tell them a little bit about your story. Like, when did you first get into sales? What were you selling the first time? And what has kind of led, to your journey of where you're at right now?
I've been selling my whole life, man. I've been selling my whole life. As a kid, I think I talk about it in my book. I was kind of like the Tom Sawyer. You ever read Tom Sawyer?
Yep.
You know how the story opens?
Yep.
How's it open?
I don't remember now.
Oh, man. You can't say yes and then not no. So in the beginning of Tom Sawyer, he's painting a fence.
Right. Okay.
What happens?
I don't know. Tell us. Go ahead.
So he's painting a fence because he's got work to do. And then a kid comes up and says, "What are you doing?" And I'm like, "I'm having a blast painting this fence." I'm going to butcher it anyway. We're going to do something. He's like, "No, I want to paint the fence." And then he convinces the person that came up that he's painting the fence, and it's more fun than doing something else. So that kid starts painting the fence. Then another kid comes up and says, "What you doing?" And he convinces him it's more fun. And before you know it, he's not painting the fence, and all his friends are painting the fence. Mm-hmm. So I've been selling my whole life. I was like the Tom Sawyer. I was like, "Oh, we should all do this." No, let's do something. No, we should be doing this. And before you know it, everybody's doing what I want to do.
So you were selling people on the idea of doing whatever it is that you wanted to do.
Yes, it did. Yeah, play the game I wanted to play, go where I wanted to go. And I wasn't always successful. That was probably because I was a narcissistic little kid, but I figured it out really early.
So what was the first thing that you were selling where, you were generating dollars? Like you figured like, hey, I have this skill. I have this knack for convincing people to go down the path that I want them to. When did you start to monetize that?
Again, as a kid, I convinced all the other kids in the neighborhood to pool their money so we could do lemonade stands. You know what I'm saying? Now, I wasn't smart enough to know about equity and equal share for equal dollars. So I get some kids to put in $5 and I'd put in 50 cents and somehow we'd all split the stuff evenly. So, right. So the kids who put in more always got screwed. Then I sold raffles for my school and, whoever sold the most raffle tickets got prizes, and I'd always sell the most raffle tickets, except one year I was mad as hell. But anyways, because the kid's mom came in on the 11th hour when he was losing and bought like 2 books and put them past me, which pissed me off. First time I saw fucking privilege, I was like, "You little fucker." His mom should have been embarrassed, actually. But anyways, I digress. So, but if you're talking about where I got paid, like my real job, it was selling chamber memberships, starting in 1996, I guess it was.
Okay, and tell us about that. What was that like?
I was down in South Beach, Miami, modeling. I'm trying to become a next level model. Modeling is a lot of like baseball in that like small markets. You're small markets for average models, for lack of a better word, and then bigger markets if you get better, and if you get even better, bigger markets. And the creme de la creme is New York, and then maybe Milan and Italy and shit. And what we call A-ball, if you will, would be Miami during the season. A lot of people from big malls from the season go down to Miami for the season. So I was there trying to like elevate my game and work on my book and get to the next level. And a buddy called me. He's like, "Hey man, you need to come home. I got a job for you." And I did the math. I was like, wait a minute. Okay. Even if like in the late 90s, man, modeling was a woman's world. There were millionaire models before Instagram and all that shit. But there were, other than like Tyson Beckford and a few other people, you weren't going to make millions of dollars modeling. So I got real with myself. Like, even if I can break through and be a top tier model, which is still a long shot, being a brother, and for whatever other reasons, I was like, I'll only make $300,000-400,000 a year. But if I stop my career now, I can make that in a few years and make it the rest of my life. So I was like, all right, fuck it, I'm done. I'm having too good a time. I don't even like the job that much. I like the lifestyle anyway. So I came home and I started selling chamber memberships. And in the first year, I broke all these records: largest sale, most sales in a month, blah, blah, blah. I was the top sales rep. And one of the people I sold a membership to saw that, and they hired me, and then worked for them for 3 years, became a partner. And then they turned around, when a client with them turned around and hired me to run a sales team. Within 3 years, I was running a sales team of 125 people, $300 million in revenue as vice president of sales.
So when you started breaking all those records, selling chamber memberships, what were you doing different than the other people that weren't? Like, were you right out the gate just doing shit Keenan's way, or was there somebody who took you under their wing and showed you the ropes?
No, just did it my way. Hustled, like I hustled. First in a hustle, like everybody was a customer, which was cool. I got kind of lucky, right? Everybody was almost a customer. We started learning, okay, I went on a meeting to a gas station. That was stupid. Like, you learn things. Gas stations are not going to join the chamber. But over time, I learned who would be a good fit, and I became maniacal. I'd be driving down the street and see a truck with a name on it, write that shit down, because the internet. And I go back to the office the next day. They weren't a member, on the phone calling them. So I was a hustler. And then I learned what worked and didn't work. So you combine the hustle with a willingness to learn and an ability to get to the core of why people should buy and why it was valuable to them. It was over. I was killing it.
Awesome. I'd love to hear how you kind of started out. So tell me now, just let's kind of fast forward. When did you transition from, leading a sales team and then getting into building a sales guy and writing the book and all that? Talk to us about that transition.
So look, there's two stories in this story. Well, there's two messages in this story. I didn't set out to start a sales consulting firm. As a matter of fact, I had already failed at 3 different businesses that were all software businesses, or one was a service, 2 were software. So I had tons of failure in my ass. Lost my life savings 2 out of 3 times, maybe all 3 times. Maybe one time I didn't have that much of a life savings to lose. But bottom line is, got my ass handed to me a bunch of times. And so I, in no way stretch of my imagination, was trying to start another business. I was just tired of being underemployed. And so what I mean by that is, because my career went so fast, right? Went from selling chamber memberships in 1997 to running a sales team of 125 people with 300 million in revenue across the entire United States, like 5 directors and 8 or 9 managers, right? With all of that, I'd go to get a job and people are like, he's got 4 years experience. Like, they couldn't process it. Like, that size responsibility, usually with people who are 40, 45, 50, been in it 15, 20, 30 years. I'm like 4 and I'm 32. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't like I started when I was 20. So I just was underemployed. No one would hire me at that level. So it was a struggle to stay at that level. If I didn't know someone, didn't have a relationship, it was take me months, sometimes a year to find a job. So I said, fuck this. And in 2019, I started a blog. And the idea of the blog was, if I can get a couple hundred or 1,000 regular readers, if I ever needed a job again, all I'd have to do is put it on the blog. Hey, folks, I'm leaving this gig. You've been reading. If you know anything, let me know if you guys are interested. It was really just to build enough of an audience to get a new job if I ever needed one. Okay. 2 years later, I got 20,000 views a day, and people are reaching out to me, and I'm being listed as a top sales blog and blah, 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 blah. And then someone reached out to me. I'll never forget her first gig. She said, hey, I'm having a problem with my sales managers. I've read this. Can you help? So I threw out a number. She said, okay. I was like, oh, that was easy. So I went to my boss and said, do you mind if I do this on the side? He said, no, you can't. And then another person called me, and then we got bought. And they let all the North American salespeople go. And so I had a choice. So go find another job, spend 6-8 months trying to find another job, or spend the same 6-8 months trying to build this. So that's why I come up with the phrase, bet on yourself. I was like, you know what? Fuck this. I'll bet on myself. Yeah. And it's been 10 years.
Wow, what a story. How did you get so many people to follow the sales blog? I mean, like, did you have writing experience prior to that? How were people finding the blog? Was it just straight word of mouth? People were reading your shit and loving it and then saying, hey, you got to read this blog. What happened? How did you go so quick to getting so many people reading your stuff?
Well, first off, 2 years is a long time, right? 2 years. I wrote every single day for 2 years. Okay.
Man, that's determination.
Yes. Number 2 was incremental. Okay. And by the way, for any freaking freak bags out there, okay, I wrote just about every day for 2 years. All right. I'm sure I missed some days. Okay. So whoever asked that wants to go and do the numbers. But roughly, I was averaging 6 point something posts a week, right? For the first 2 years. And it was all incremental. So I remember not too long, I went back and looked, and it was like I had like 7 people the first day and maybe 8 or 9 the next day. And then I got into the teens, and that was my motivation. Oh, I got teens this time. Oh, I got 20 people today. Yeah. I just kept going and kept going and kept going. And little things would happen. Somewhere along the line, I don't know how it happened, to be honest with you, but this small group of people, some of them are pretty big now, found it, and they had this little group of people that agreed to share each other's shit. So they were like, hey, you're doing good stuff. You want to join us? I'm like, okay. So then they started sharing my stuff. Then I shared it out on Twitter. Twitter was really big in 2009, 10, 11, when it was taking off. So I shared it on Twitter. That got me going. Then, of course, some of the blogs that did well caught an SEO, so that drove it. And so every time there was an opportunity, and then, someone would name it something that would build on it. So it wasn't like this. It was more like steps.
Yeah.
Right? Like I'd be plateaued for a while and something would happen. I'd shoot up. Then I'd plateau for a while and I'd shoot up. Yeah. Right? I just stuck with it.
And was it called The Sales Guy back then or something different?
That's why the name of my company is The Sales Guy, because it was basically a sales guy blog. Like, I'm a sales guy, right?
Yeah.
But
so that was the original name of the blog.
Yes. And the reason it's the name of the company is once I got that big and had that much juice, I didn't want to change the name and lose all my freaking SEO juice. That would have been stupid. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Like literally it would have been dumb to change it. So I just took the name and made it my company.
Are some of the original blog posts still out there on the site?
Yeah, somewhere along the line, this is what I get for not being too detail oriented. We've migrated to different platforms a couple times. We've redone the blog, then we've redone the website a couple times, and I didn't notice clearly. But not too long ago, I went back to find my first post, and there's about 8 or 9 or 10 or 11 posts that just disappeared. So I can't find my very first one. But yes, they're all still there. Go to asalesguy.com and you can go all the way back to probably March or April of 2009 when I started. February is not there for some reason.
And how often do you still put out original content that you write yourself?
On the blog, not very often.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not very, I do a lot of video on LinkedIn. I'll do blog posts once in a while, but yeah, not as often as I should.
Yeah. No, cool. All right, man. So let's talk about the elephant in the room. Tell people who are listening that don't know the elephant in the room.
What about the elephant in the room? Tell me, what more do you want? Yeah, there goes my chirper. What do you mean?
Tell us about that. That's your.
Why do I call myself the elephant in the room? Because look, I think most people are chicken shit. Most people don't have balls. We create an environment where organizations don't like going to uncomfortable places. Everybody tries to play it safe. People try. One of my phrases, I didn't make this phrase up, but I love the most is play to win, not to lose. And most people play not to lose. So if there's something going on that needs to be addressed, that needs to be fixed, that is really the problem, but it's uncomfortable, nobody calls it out. But I'm like, fuck, come on, people really? It's that right there. That's the fucking problem. Are we not going to talk about this seriously? Are we going to pretend that shit doesn't exist? Come on, man.
What's the number one problem you see when you're working with companies that people don't want to look at?
Leadership, their product, usually leadership in their product. It's like, look, you know what it is? It's like anything else. 9 out of 10 times, okay, there's 2 things. 9 out of 10 times, one of the things, math isn't going to add up, get over it, is people don't want to look at things that is a reflection of them. Right? People just don't want to believe it could be them. Could be the culture. Could be something they created. Doesn't feel good. So people try to pretend that doesn't happen. Number 2, the reason they avoid the thing in the room is they believe that management won't support it, or someone's going to get mad at them, or there's going to be backlash. Right?
Basically what you're saying is people don't have balls to speak up.
No. They don't want to own their own shit, or they're afraid that someone's going to crucify them for pointing out, right? And we've done such a good job of this in corporate America. Like if Mary is fucking up, right? Let's say Mary has made a whole bunch of mistakes and we're running around trying to solve a problem. We all know that if Mary got her shit together, if Mary's team got her shit together, they'd be solved. But nobody wants to call Mary on that. And then I call Mary on, then I'm labeled as not being a team player. I'm not being collaborative. Even though I do it respectfully, right? Well, how about this one? Here's a great one. How many times have we seen an organization, right, get caught up in power grabs? People fighting for more employees so they can say, I got 50 reporting to me, 100, or I want this and I want that. So the company is spinning its wheels, not getting shit done, not because they don't have a good product, but because people are fighting, political infighting to get their fiefdoms. When's the last time you ever actually heard a leader or people say it's about the fiefdom fighting? We got to stop that. No one does it. No, and that's the fucking problem. No one says a word. Because then they're going to be labeled as not working together, be labeled as the person who's undermining teammates, or labeled the person who's difficult to work with, when everybody else is difficult to work with. No one's got the balls to say, Mary's not giving up that section, not because it's the right thing to do, but because she wants to hold on to this and needs 27 employees instead of 13, or needs 500 instead of 150. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, I get it.
No one has the balls to call anybody out.
So how now? Obviously, I'd say obviously. You're not everybody's cup of tea, right? There's, not everybody are going to get shit done with your style, right? It takes people that are, right? There's, it's going to take somebody who's willing to look at that stuff and take that kind of football coach, feedback, right? To change something. How do you get organizations to get on board with these type of changes that they've been ignoring for many years?
It's cultural. And I'm not, it's funny, I don't want to skirt the question. I'm man enough to know what I don't know, right? It's my own company. I'll do it for my own companies, but I'm not an organizational development coach. I don't know organizational development. I'm sure there's a lot of ways to do that. But if you want to just get brass tacks, fucking own it. Like, companies, stop bullshitting. Like, own your stuff. Create systems where people can say things. Ferret out the politics. Don't get caught up in it. Punish people who play the politics. Take someone who's, I don't call them a whistleblower, but take someone who's courageous and does something and reward them. Don't fire them, right? But at the same token, if someone starts playing the game and tries to, call out the elephant in the room, not because it's actually the elephant, but they're trying to leverage that for political gain, shame them too. Like, we don't shame anybody. People aren't shamed. People start getting shamed, they're going to stop doing the shit. Yeah. And then right now I can already hear HR saying, it is not appropriate to shame people. So what I mean, I don't mean call them names. Just don't accept the behaviors. Not enough companies focus on the behaviors. They spend too much time on the results.
So how challenging is it for you to get in there and make some noise and get things to start, operating in a different way?
Usually not very, because I am authentic everywhere I go. Some people just won't hire me.
But the people that do already know what they're getting. Yep. They already know what they're signing up for.
Yep. I literally lost what probably could have been $250,000 deal, if not more, recently, because the worldwide North American vice president of sales, who had 400 people under him, which was the majority of the company, who reported to the CRO, was desperate to have me in. The CRO loved the book, obviously staying out of it, right? And they were all ready to move. And then HR saw one of my videos and heard me drop a couple F-bombs, went back, we cannot hire this guy. Wow. Right? We cannot hire this guy. Now, there's a perfect example of why I don't do corporate America. And if they ask me, I'd tell them, and I'm not going to tell the company's name. But what yes, I said that organization allows HR to tell fucking sales who they can and can't hire. HR is not responsible for those numbers. And if he doesn't make his numbers, HR is not going to take the hit. HR is not going to be strung up. That lady's not going to have her ass in a sling. But yet she had the authority to pull the rug out. Now, look, I know that some people don't like swearing. So I say, if you don't want me to swear, I'm not going to change my attitude and personality. But Corey, I can do a G version. I don't have to swear. That's fine. But for her to not even meet me, not understand the problems he's got, not understand our organization, not read the book, not understand the training, to simply blanket his ability and authority to implement a particular training he wants, just out of thin air, that is one of the most dysfunctional companies you'll ever see. Like, I would never give if I'm the CEO, I would never give my HR that type of control. HR, stay in your own fucking lane. If you got a problem and you're concerned about his lane crossing into yours, get together and say, John, here's my concerns about what you're doing. Does this guy do a G-rated version? we have people, blah, blah, blah. This is this. Can we talk? And can I talk? And and then collaboratively, you can come to a term. You don't give that type of, no way. Fuck off.
Are you capable of a G version?
Yeah, absolutely. Yes.
Wow. That's something else.
That is an example of how screwed up corporate America is.
So do you stay in your lane with certain company sizes where it's just an uphill battle to really make an impact for true change?
Yeah, generally speaking, right now, I don't engage at the C level for Fortune 100, Fortune 500. Too big, too much going on, too many silos to really show change. Now, look, we hope to fix that over time as we get bigger and bigger, right? But right now, we'll work with Fortune 500 in, I don't want to say silos, in chunks. So we've worked with Intel, we've worked with Verizon. So we'll do it in chunks, right? But from a holistic, because that's what I like to do is really turn over sales organizations, not fire people, hire people, but just turn over their progress. And really, when you're talking thousands of salespeople all over the world, it's too hard to do from the top. So I prefer to do it one and go horizontal.
All right. Let's talk about the book. When did you first write the book? What was the inspiration behind the book? How has the book impacted a sales guy as an organization?
Woo! We doubled revenue last year. That's how it impacted it. I mean, yeah, it's been huge. Been huge.
Are you going to write another book?
Yeah, I started to, but I'm still working through all the benefits as to the upside of this one. So rather than rushing to another one, I started it and now I'm put it on pause for a minute. I want to finish playing this one out. So, we're launching online gap selling online training. Some people, it's in beta right now. Hopefully that shit's out for the public by July. Then I got to do another course in that one. So I got to go back into the studio and do a second course for that one.
Is the course though, like the book, is it the whole book in course format?
Yeah.
Very cool. What else are you guys doing out there? What else is exciting? You guys, I think I heard you say something. You guys are starting to add more people, more coaches possibly?
Yeah, I was thinking, yes, but that's all of a sudden a hold now because I don't know what the in-person environment is going to look like. That's why we're sort of doubling down and going after the online piece. We just got lucky as shit that I'm doing this on purpose, 99% of the way to, or 99% done filming and doing all the content for the online version right when COVID hit. So literally we had like 6 videos to go and they were like, guys, we're closing on Monday. Come in on Friday. Let's knock them all out. But we've been doing it since January. Does that make any sense?
Yeah.
So literally we just got so lucky that we got all the content done the last day in the studio. And then we've been spending all this time in COVID putting it together. So we would have been more lucky if we actually launched it in COVID, but it doesn't matter. So now we have this whole online version stuff that we're doubling down on because we don't know how many people are going to want in person.
Right. And most of all what you do is on site in person, right? It was. So are you guys been doing virtual now?
Yes. And quite well. It's actually given us a B2C component. So where companies aren't really paying, and we've been really nice on the price point, which is going to change soon here, but we've been running these virtual trainings, exact same training we do for corporations, just split in 2. Rather than being 8 hours in a day, it's done in 4 hours, and it's done 2 hours over 2 days, right? Yeah. And $99, and we put over 1,000 people through it.
Wow. Mm-hmm. That's awesome. Mm-hmm. All right. Well, hey man, thanks for coming on the show. I really appreciate it. If just before we let you go, anything you want to tell people where they can find you, where they can find out the book, more about a sales guy, all that good stuff.
Gapselling.com, Keenan.com, well, not Keenan.live. If you can't find me, you got bigger problems. Yeah. Really. If you put in Keenan, don't find me. If you put in a sales guy, don't find me. You put in Gap Selling, you don't find me. You got much bigger problems that I can't help you with. Yeah, and if they find a copy of your original blog, they might have something to offer you. Yes. Oh, that'd be awesome. Yes, I don't know where the hell that went, but my first post would be dope. Yeah. All right, man. Thanks. I appreciate it. If you're listening to the podcast, please subscribe, share with your friends, and we're listening to your feedback. The show is all about you. Thank you for tuning in for another episode of Monster Chats, presented by Monster VoIP.
where we share the tools, methods, and best practices that business leaders use to build new connections, strengthen relationships, and impact sales in organizations of all shapes and sizes. If you have any questions from today's show and want to reach us directly, please text your question to 424-378-6966.